Ariel Helwani post-fight at UFC 144 alongside UFC President Dana White. And Dana, thank you very much for the time. First, let's talk about the main event, of course. Who do you think won the fight?
Again, I'm not a judge, and my opinion doesn't matter, but I had it even going into that last round, and I gave the last round to Frankie.
So were you at all surprised when the judges scored it? Some of them, I believe, 4-1 for Benson Henderson.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, most of the judges had him losing the last round. I don't know how you have him losing the last round. But, I was on Twitter going into the third, fourth, and last round, asking people how they had it, and there were some people that had it just like I had it. There were other people that had it the other way for Henderson, and I said, get ready for some controversy. This is going to be a controversial decision.
And it wasn't the only controversial decision of the night. Takeya Mitsugaki, you gave him his win bonus, and I heard that you also gave Frankie his win bonus. Is that correct?
No, okay. We didn't give Frankie the win bonus, but there's a difference between a fight being close and going back and forth and being tough to score, and something that I feel is an outright robbery. If I think somebody absolutely got robbed, then it's a whole other story.
And didn't the UFC appoint these judges? Because you guys are in charge here. There isn't a commission.
Right. So it's not like, what you guys have to understand, it's not like the UFC appoints these judges. Ratner gets together and figures out which guys should come, and it's run just like it's run in Nevada and things like that. I have no persuasion over the judges, or people start tweeting me and going, it's your organization, you did this, you did that. No, that's not how it works. You know how many of these judges I've talked to? Zero. I don't ever talk to these judges. I don't even know them.
No,
and that's the way it should be.
Right. Based on the fact that you thought Frankie won, do you think you'll book an immediate rematch?
I would love to see Frankie to move down to 145. I've been saying that forever. And he seems reluctant to do it, but we'll see what happens.
Why do you think he's so reluctant to do that? I mean, there's a great champion there. He can make a lot of money fighting there as well.
Because the guy's been, one of the best in the world forever at 55. It's tough to tell a guy who's been dominating, at a weight division, you should move down.
It almost seems like he views it as a demotion, like it's a punishment to go down, even though it's all in the same organization now.
It's a good point.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. Some of these guys, it's like, why couldn't I get Anderson to go to 205? It's just one of those things. When guys are doing as well as Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Frankie Edgar, I don't ever go to them and say, you should do this, you should do that. When you're a guy like Akiyama fighting at 85, then I put the pressure on and I start saying, you need to go to 170.
It seems like the obvious matchup is Pettis versus Henderson too, because they had that amazing fight in WEC. If you don't book the rematch, is that what you're leaning towards, considering how good Pettis looked tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many different things that we can do in that weight division, and obviously Diaz and Miller are going to fight, so we'll see. I mean, it's one of those calls I don't like to make the night of the fight.
A lot of people have been saying that Rampage just wasn't motivated. He came in overweight. Obviously, this was a big fight for him, but he didn't look good out there. What did you make of his whole performance tonight?
I'm disappointed. You know what I mean? I think that Rampage is so talented. I just question whether he wants to do this anymore. I have been since, probably the A-Team movie.
Did you get a chance to talk to him after the fight and get a sense for where he's at?
2 seconds right here. He said, I'm sorry, and I want to fight again, and I'll come back, and I'll be better. So we'll see what happens.
He said he was injured, and that's why he missed weight. Did you have any idea that he was going to miss weight?
No. I had no clue until the day of the weigh-ins. Yeah. Right when I got here, they told me.
Do you think it was a motivation thing, that he just didn't view Ryan Bader as someone who's on his level, or do you think he was legitimately injured? What was your sense?
Well, it's always one of those things. I hate guys saying, I'm not motivated for this fight. Well, you better get motivated, because guess what? Brian Bader's motivated to kick your ass.
Mark Hunt has been one of the most unbelievable stories, I think, in UFC history, considering how he got in with the Pride contract. He lost his first fight in seconds to Sean McCorkle, and now a 3-fight winning streak. How do you put this into words, what he's done here?
It is amazing, and I have nothing but respect for it. When the Pride deal happened and his contract was in there for him to fight, we were like, we'll pay you the money to go away. Just go away. No need in you fighting. He had more losses than wins, and he wanted to fight, man, and I respect that. Not only did he want to fight, and not only did I know that he could have taken the money, but he came in, he fought, earned that money, and then earned himself another contract at 37 years old in the toughest heavyweight division we've ever had in the history of this company. I have nothing but respect for him. I apologized at the last press conference for doubting him, and I give him nothing but props.
Okay, final question. I was talking to a lot of the Japanese media here, and they were just blown away by yesterday, the turnout at the weigh-ins, by the crowd tonight, how they reacted. They weren't your typical Japanese crowd. And I think most of the UFC employees as well just didn't expect this kind of reaction and reception to the UFC back here in Japan. A lot of talk about Japanese MMA being dead. What can we learn from tonight, considering how great this crowd was?
Well, I didn't know what to expect. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect coming in, whether they'd be loud or whether, because let's face it, the UFC is a completely different style event than any event that's ever been in Japan before. And, I say it all the time. People who've never been to a live UFC event, what you think you see on TV, it's a completely different show, what you see on television and what happens here live. And you'd pretty much have to have no fucking pulse and be dead not to want to jump up and cheer and go crazy when you're at a UFC event.
So did they surprise you, considering how they were so vocal? They weren't like your typical Japanese crowd.
It didn't surprise me at all. I mean, no, I wasn't surprised. I just didn't know what to expect when I got here, whether they would do that or whether it would be quiet like Pride. I wasn't surprised. I was happy. Tonight was a great event. The fans were awesome. And as I was leaving tonight, everybody was screaming to me, come to Japan again, come to me, come here again.
All right, Dana, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you.